Good morning, everyone. My name is Sir Alexis M. Maris, and for today, we're going to discuss about the current trends and main concerns as to science curriculum development and implementation in New Zealand and Australia. Our objective for this morning is to explore the educational system of New Zealand and Australia, focusing on science education. Number two, to identify the strengths and challenges of each system in terms of curriculum, teaching methods, and student outcome. And the last one is to compare the teaching methods and approaches of New Zealand and Australia to the Philippines. So let's start po with the New Zealand. So ang New Zealand po is pangwalo sa may pinakamagandang educational system sa buong mundo. Their educational system is globally recognized for its high academic standards, research opportunities, and student-centered approach. Kung titignan naman po natin yung educational levels in New Zealand, nagsisimula po ito sa kanilang early childhood education. Andyan po yung kindergartens, yung preschool, and yung tinatawag po nila na child care centers. Next po sa kanilang early childhood education is their primary education. This is compulsory for children aged 6 to 16 years. And it is consists of primary or elementary school, typically lasting from 7 to 8 years. After po ng kanilang primary education, they will go to the next level, which is the secondary education. Ito naman po, typically yung mga students nila is age 13 to 18 years. Student in year 11 and 12 ay nag-work na po sila towards the National Certificate of Educational Achievement. And then sa year 13 po nila, yung mga estudyante po may sit for university entrance examination. So after they pass their secondary education naman po, they will move to another level, which is their tertiary education. Kung titignan naman po natin yung mga key features ng kanilang educational system, number one po, the New Zealand has a high quality of education. So their degrees po is globally respected dahil isa po sila sa top 10 na napakagandang educational system. And number 2 po, sa tingin ko po, ito po yung pinakamaganda sa kanila, yung kanila pong small class sizes. So typically po, yung ratio po ng student to teacher nila is 15 to 1. Ibig sabihin po, kada 15 na estudyante may isang teacher. Hindi po tulad dito sa Pilipinas na parang ang minimum po, pinakamababang estudyante sa isang classroom ay 30. So hindi po siya natututukan ng teacher, yung lahat ng mga students. Pero sa tingin ko po, dito po sa 15:1, talagang matututukan mo bawat bata, bawat klase mo. Kasarap pong magklase kapag ganyan. And yung government po nila has a strong academic support, including career counseling and mental health services. Dito sa Pilipinas po, madalang po yung school na merong career counseling or yung sa may mental health services or yung tinatawag po na career guidance. Napakadalang po na school na merong licensed professional na career guidance. And then yung kanila pong innovative teaching methods, gumagamit po sila ng problem-based learning which encourages critical thinking. And meron din po silang internship and placements na kung saan nakapokus po ito sa hands-on experience in real-world settings. And collaborative learning din po, meron din sila nun, which focuses on developing teamwork and leadership skills. And meron din po silang cultural diversity and students' experiences. Sabi po dun sa na-research ko na 25% po ng students sa New Zealand is international students. So marami po silang mga estudyante na taga-ibang bansa, which promotes po the sharing of culture. Nakapag-share po sila ng mga culture nila sa kanila pong mga bansa. And the last one po, I think this is the most important key features, no? Pinagmamalaki po nila yung safe and high quality of lifestyle. So, yung New Zealand po kasi belongs to the top 10 safest countries in the world. So, konti po yung crime sa kanila at safe po dun sa lugar nila, which means po na konti yung mga nagiging distractions na which can affect the life of the students, no? Wala masyadong krimen, feeling ng bata safe siya, kaya nakapag-aral siya ng mabuti, kaya natututo din siya ng mabuti. And also, affordable po yung healthcare sa New Zealand at meron po silang mga student insurance, which madalang po dito kung ikukumpara natin sa Pilipinas na wala pong mga insurance yung mga estudyante po natin. And also clean yung kanilang environment, yung mga locals nila ay friendly, and excellent po yung kanilang public services. Kung ikukumpara po natin sa Pilipinas, siguro hindi po ganun kalinis, to be honest, ano, sa mga kalsada natin. And also sa panahon po ngayon is madalang mo nang masasabi na friendly yung mga locals, ano, kasi talamak yung mga nangyayaring krimen sa labas ng school. And sa tingin ko naman yung public services is normal lang naman po. Normal lang. And kung titignan naman po natin yung kanilang science education sa New Zealand, ito po ay inorganize po nila into 5 strands. So number 1 po is the nature of science, no? Dito po is they tackled about the how to teach students what science is, how is science work, and how scientific knowledge evolve. It emphasizes on the scientific inquiry, no, communication, and relevance of science in everyday life. In number 2 naman po, the living world. Ito naman po ay nakafocus sa biology, ecosystem, evolution, and the impact of human life on Earth. It highlights the New Zealand's unique biodiversity and sustainability. Sa pangatlo po is the planet Earth and beyond. It covers naman po the Earth's system, katulad po ng land, water, air, life, and also it covers the solar system and the universe. This stresses that interdependence of this system and human responsibility for resource management. Pangapat naman po na tinatakin nila is the physical world. Ano po? Dito naman po it explores the physical concept such as energy, forces, motion, waves, electricity, and magnetism. And sa number 5 naman po is the material world. Ito naman po ay nakafocus sa chemistry, including the properties of matter, the chemical reaction, and the role of chemistry in sustainability, material science, and energy, no? So kung ikukumpara po natin ito para sa akin sa Pilipinas, ano po, parang hindi naman po siya nalalayo sa Philippines kasi dinidiscuss din naman po natin yung how scientific knowledge evolves or how to acquire knowledge, di ba po? The scientific inquiry, dinidiscuss din po natin yun sa mga grade 7. And also, biology, ecosystem, no? Dinidiscuss din po natin ito, which means po na yung dinidiscuss po nila dito is hindi naman po siya masyadong naiiba sa dinidiscuss natin dito po sa Pilipinas. Siguro po it's a matter of how they deliver it. Kaya mas maganda po yung educational system po nila. Next po is the Australia. So Australia po ranks 3rd in the world in terms of its educational system. So pangatlo po yung Australia kung pag-uusapan po is the educational system of the world. It demonstrates a commitment to high academic standards and inclusivity. Also, the Australian educational system po is known for its diversity, holistic development approach, strong vocational training programs, and international recognized universities. So marami pong magagaling at magagandang universities dito sa Australia. If we look naman po their structure ng kanilang educational system, it consists of several stages, katulad po doon sa New Zealand. So, ang kanila pong educational system starts with the preschool o yung kindergarten or yung prep na tinatawag po. So, ito po ay optional, no? But they encourage po for early social and academic development. After po nilang mag-preschool, the next stage po is their primary education. This is year K to 6. Ito naman po ay nagpo-focus sa fundamental like literacy, numeracy, and the social skills. After po ng kanilang primary education, they will move to secondary education. Ito naman po is the year 7 to 12. Dito naman po is the academic and elective subjects leading to universities or vocational pathways. And then after that, they will go to tertiary education also. So kung ikukumpara po natin siya sa Pilipinas, parang hindi naman po siya nagkakalayo dahil tayo din po ay K to 12. Kung titignan po natin dito, ang Australia din po is K to 12. Let's talk about naman po the distinctive features of the Australian educational system. So number 1 po, holistic development. It emphasizes on social and emotional well-being alongside academics. And sa Australian educational system din po, have a strong vocational education system. Meron po sila dito ang education trainings and programs which provides practical skills and certifications. And also yung kanila pong mga universities are international or internationally recognized, and meron pong high rank sa worldwide pagdating po sa universities. And also meron din po silang inclusive education policies which schools cater to students with diverse learning needs. Let us talk about naman po the several challenges of the science education in New Zealand and Australia. So number 1 po is student engagement and interest, no? Sa tingin ko po ito yung pinaka-challenge pag nagtuturo talaga, yung makot or makuha mo yung interest and the engagement of the students. So meron din po palang problem sila ng ganito sa New Zealand and Australia, no? So the declining students' participation in senior level science subject, particularly in physics and in chemistry. Number 2 po na challenges nila is the teacher shortages and expertise. Siyempre po, nababalitaan natin na kadalasan po na nag-abroad na teacher, ngayong panahon ata ay pumupunta po sa New Zealand and iba po sa Australia or sa Amerika, kasi meron po doong shortage ng mga teachers, no? Kasi ayon po sa research ko, or nagtanong-tanong na rin po ako sa mga barkada ko sa Amerika, number 1 reason daw po ba't marami silang kinukuhang teacher ay dahil marami po sa citizen doon sa bansa na yun ay ayaw pong magturo or wala po silang passion sa teaching, kaya konti lang po yung teacher sa ibang bansa. Next po na challenge nila is the curriculum challenges, dahil pabago-bago din po sila ng curriculum doon sa ibang bansa. Let us talk about naman po the if we compare po the teaching methods and approaches na ginagamit sa New Zealand, sa Australia, and sa Philippines, ito po yung mga pinagkaiba-iba ng tatlo. When we talk about the approach, sa New Zealand po is nakapokus po siya sa inquiry-based learning. Dito naman po sa Australia, pag pinag-uusapan po yung science, they focus on the approach of inquiry-based and structured. Sa Pilipinas naman po, gumagamit po tayo dito ng tinatawag na spiral progression approach. Doon naman po sa emphasis ng kanilang science curriculum, the New Zealand focus on critical thinking and real-world applications. And sa Australia naman po, nagpo-focus sila sa hands-on learning and experiments. Dito naman po sa Pilipinas is theoretical and practical balance. So parang tama nga kasi parang more on theory yung tinuturo natin dahil minsan talaga kapos po tayo sa mga scientific materials, no, yung mga ginagamit natin. Like for example, sa grade 7, dati pag gumagamit po kami or natuturo ako ng microscope, ay puro theory lang, puro picture lang, puro definition lang, and also function ng mga parts dahil nga po wala yung mismong microscope. Pero ngayon naman po is nag-i-improve dahil yung school namin ay marami na pong microscope. If we compare naman po yung kanilang practical work, sa New Zealand, strong emphasis on lab experiment and field work. Sa Australia po, lab, group work, and independent research. Dito po sa Pilipinas, experiments but limited resources in public schools. Siyempre, limited po yung ating resources. Pero nag-experiment naman po tayo. Magamit po tayo ng mga available materials na pwedeng ipalit dun sa mga scientific tools. Pag naman po sa technology use sa New Zealand, ay gumagamit po sila ng digital tools and online simulations. Sa Australia naman po is well-integrated technology. Dito naman po sa Pilipinas, increasing use of ICT but still developing pa din po. These are the assessment questions I prepared. Number 1, how is the science curriculum in the Philippines different from New Zealand and Australia in terms of structure? Number 2, what is the main teaching approach used in New Zealand and Australia, and how does it compare to the spiral progression method in the Philippines? And number 3, what is one common challenge faced by all 3 countries in science education? So ito po yung mga pinipare ko na videos. Panoorin po natin.
He came to New Zealand. First of all, he got freedom to choose what he wants to learn. And so if he learns something he really enjoys, he becomes more motivated. The size of the class is really small, and so the teacher can observe him more. The learning style in New Zealand is more like learning by doing. That is the charm of the New Zealand's education system.
EdTech traditionally is any technology that supports or enhances any part of the education system or learning. But over the past couple of years, really, the term EdTech is being used to represent those disruptive forces to education. Navitas Ventures has just recently launched its global EdTech landscape, representing 5,000 EdTech companies around the world and $40 billion worth of investment. And it's been fascinating to see the clusters of innovation and investment across the whole sector. We're seeing still a lot of activity in alternative credentialing models, the move towards personalised learning through gamification, AR, VR, etc. Over the last couple of years, there's been a convergence of EdTech and talent tech, lots of activity in the learning to workspace, and alternative models such as boot camps, MOOC 2.0, learn now, pay later models. Australia generally punches above its weight in education, and we've been trying to solve the problem of distance learning for 50 plus years.
We have a very strong and established education industry, so we have the talent, the expertise and the knowledge. We also have a very strong and fast-growing startup technology industry across the countries. We're strategically located right next to Asia and a number of large and strong markets that are right next door to us.
I think that Australian EdTech companies are particularly strong as a result of the cultural diversity that Australia has. We have many different spoken languages within any given classroom, and the strength of the EdTech product has to rise to that level.
Because of Australia's geography, we have very strong history in distance education, and that's translated into online education. And so we have 1,100 firms who are currently offering courses online. So it's not surprising, given our expertise in ICT, that we've been able to develop very vibrant EdTech companies. The potential for EdTech for Australia is enormous. Currently we have 500,000 international students in Australia, but the Deloitte Access Economics report projects that there's going to be 1 billion students internationally by 2025. And if the Australian education sector is going to connect with those students, it's imperative that we engage in EdTech.
The key characteristics of the Australian EdTech sector are that there's about 350 companies across the country, and the majority of those companies, about 65 to 70% of them, are focused on the K-12 market, with the remainder focused on the tertiary sector, early childhood, vocational sector as well.
Austrade is fiercely ambitious on behalf of EdTech companies in Australia. We've helped to pull the industry together through the formation of EduGrowth, which is an accelerator but also a peak body for those involved in EdTech.
EduGrowth is Australia's peak EdTech body. We are here to drive innovation for EdTech companies within Australia. EduGrowth's international network is a unique one. From day one in our full-time accelerator program, we have pushed our startups to be internationally focused. We recently went to the ASU GSV conference, which is the largest EdTech conference in the US.
Within Australia International Education 2025, we have the ambition of having more than 1 million students in Australia by that time. But we also have, as part of that roadmap, that we want to be able to touch more than 100 million students around the globe. So Australia is absolutely focused on delivering quality education, but enhanced by EdTech solutions.